Happy Tuesday, everyone. It's time for another episode of your favorite soccer podcast, at least when we're talking about Orange County Soccer Club stuff. We've got a guest on board, actually a couple of guests that we're going to bring on here to help us out tonight. And let's go ahead and get this thing started. This is the Orange and Black Soccer Cast.
Towards the near post, the flick, and it's in. Darwin Jones with the response for Orange County. And it is a massive one. Austin Bold dominant in the last 10. Forrester in the middle now, gets around a few defenders. Forrester with the outside right foot. What a strike by Harry Forrester. It's the opening goal for Orange County.
Has it down, back post, opportunity and a goal! A beautiful goal by Orange County.
This is the Orange and Black Soccer Cast, the first and only podcast dedicated to Orange County Soccer Club, its fans, and supporters. Follow us on Twitter at OCSC_SoccerCast or on Facebook at Orange and Black Soccer Cast.
How is it going, Orange County? Welcome to another episode of the Orange and Black Soccer Cast, presented by Roughneck Scarves and Icarus FC. We are the first and only podcast dedicated to Orange County Soccer Club, its fans, and supporters. I'm your host, Ray Samora, and I am with you each and every episode, except for that one time, to help bring you through the journey of Orange County Soccer Club. Joining me as he has every day, including that one episode I missed, we've got Dylan from County Line Coalition. Dylan, how are things going?
I guess I have to unmute myself for this whole thing to work, but I'm doing
Yes.
well. It is super, super hot. It has been super, super hot today. And for our listeners who are not in Southern California, it was at one point over 100 degrees. So I will not hear your complaints.
We don't like to hear those complaints when we have from the out-of-staters that make fun of us when it comes to hot weather in Southern California. There's a reason why we pay the money we do to live in this neck of the country, and it's because of the beautiful weather. We're not dealing with the heat. I think he's also dealing with heat a little bit south of us down in San Diego, and that is Alan. Alan, how's the weather been down there, and how have you been? Technical issues, I think, for Alan. He's having some internet issues this evening. So let's skip ahead. Maybe we'll have to rely more on Mr. Cameron, our good friend of the show, from A Mouthful of History, I believe is what it's called. Am I getting that right, Cameron?
Yes, you are 100% correct.
Perfect. How you doing? How you doing with the heat?
Fine. I mean, I'm not the one paying for air conditioning, so I can't complain right now. But yes, in Fullerton, it got as high as 105 degrees as opposed to the 100 where Dylan's at. But I mean, other than that, 2 wins from 2 this week for Orange County. So we're at the top for now. And let's keep this, at least in the power rankings, but let's keep it there.
And look at that. Cameron doing a perfect job of positioning us into our guest that we've brought into the show. First time joining us here on the Orange and Black Soccer Cast, one of the newest members of the defensive side of things. And that is Nathan Smith. I believe his microphone's muted. Hopefully he can figure out how to unmute it so we can get him on here. Nathan, how are you doing? Sorry, technical issues on my end there. You got the mic unmuted, and I forgot to add your vocals to the stream. Let's try this one more time, Nathan. How are things going for you?
I'm doing good. Thank you guys for having me on the show today. I hope you guys can hear me now a little better.
Oh yeah, we got you. We got you loud and clear. It was my mistake, so I apologize for that. How have you been dealing with this crazy heat we've been having here in Southern California?
Been staying indoors a lot of time, inside, outside of training, just trying to stay by a fan and just lay down and relax.
So let me ask you really quickly, what's training been like with these 100-degree temperatures? I know there are some teams around the league that I guess this is typical for them when you talk about like Phoenix, maybe Las Vegas, some of those Texas teams. But again, here in Southern California, not typical. How's training been for you guys? Are you guys staying hydrated throughout the training sessions?
Yeah, definitely. We got a Powerade and water out there, staying hydrated. feel like it was like we were spoiled a little bit early on with the kind of the gloom. So having a little heat kind of isn't the worst thing.
Can you think back, you can go all the way back to your youth time, the worst, I guess, weather you've ever played a match in? I know recently the match against, was it Vegas? It was pretty hot at kickoff. What's the worst weather you've dealt with in a soccer match?
I would definitely say Academy playoffs. They would host it out in Frisco, Texas in the midsummer, and you play 2 games a day. It was terrible. My brother actually had heat exhaustion 1 year. So that was probably the worst, yeah.
Was this when you were playing for the Galaxy Academy
Yeah,
squad?
this is when I was playing for the Galaxy.
Perfect. So for people that aren't too familiar with you, your academy play was with Galaxy. You did go to UCLA for your collegiate career. Then you joined Los Dos on a contract, got to make a few appearances with the senior team in the MLS, Galaxy, and then you transitioned over to Portland. What led to your decision to come back to Southern California and play for Orange County this season?
I just thought like playing against them for the last couple of years that they had an attractive style of play, and I liked the way that they tried to play the game. And I had previously known Braden from Galaxy. He had coached me a brief bit in the academy, so I just thought it would be a good fit.
And I mean, the fit has been pretty amazing so far. You've teamed up with the other newcomer, Rob Kiernan, and then of course the returnees, Michael Orozco, Kevin Alston, and then also newcomer from over in Scotland, Danny Finlayson, to form one of the formidable defenses in the USL Championship, conceding only 1 goal so far. How have you guys clicked so quickly, so soon in the season?
Yeah, I think the guys that you mentioned are great and help the team out a lot. But I think that just from the whole group, from the midfield and from the top up, just we've all kind of bought in to that we're going to be hard to break down and that we're not going to be giving up goals.
Let me hand it off to my partner Dylan here because I've been hogging all the questions. You got a question for Nathan, Dylan?
Yeah, so we obviously played Phoenix a couple weeks ago, played them twice in a row, and especially in that second match, you were very, very confident coming up against Solomon Asante, who's probably one of the best players in the league. And you wasted no time in kind of running your mouth at him and winding him up. Is that something that you find to be an important part of your game, or is that just coming down to confidence in your back line and your teammates?
I think that comes down to the coaches and my teammates just believe in me, and that gives me all the confidence out on the field. So they make it, easier for me to, kind of play my game.
And let me follow up, I guess, on Dylan's question there. What was the feeling after? I think there was a lot of fanfare on social media on your solid defense on Solomon Asante. Did you get to read any of the fan either tweets or post on social media about the impressive defensive effort you had against, again, one of the top players in the USL Championship?
Yeah, no, I didn't get a read into it. I don't have a Twitter. I'm actually blocked out of my Twitter, so the one that Orange County's tagged me, I don't have any connection with it anymore. So I'm kind of without the Twitter world right now, so I've kind of been staying off social media.
What a dream.
You sounded like Dylan. You sound like Dylan prior to becoming a podcast host. He refused to be on social media, and we sort of had to force him to do that. We did get Alan on the stream, and it looks like his internet connection is up and working.
Yeah.
Question for Nathan?
Yes, I do. My computer is as over this heat as I am. So there's a lot of leadership on that team. You talk about Aiden Quinn. You talk about Michael Orozco. Frederick Dua even is, I would consider to be Dua, depends on who your announcer is for the week. But is there anything that you're learning about stepping up, being a leader? I know it seems like you talk a lot on the pitch. Is there something you're picking up from these guys that you are incorporating into your game as far as kind of the leadership role, or the maybe not the tangible aspect of the pitch of soccer, but maybe more the mental game?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, the guys you mentioned, like Orozco, Quinn, Kiernan, they're all great leaders, and they kind of lead vocally and by example. So I try to kind of do my bit, with the guys like younger or older, just trying to also voice what they have been voicing and kind of preach what our principles are and just doing the right things.
And as far as like the fit, I think it feels very like you've been part of the team for a while. Like I don't think it feels like you're new to the team, which is super impressive. Is there anything that's happened, whether on the training ground or in just in the match itself, that helped you gain that comfort level to make it look like you've been playing with Orange County for quite some time?
I would say just the quarantine helped for sure. We were able to kind of see like throughout the break, stay together and stay close. So I think it really bonded us as a team because we kind of came together late with our full team, not in the whole preseason. So I think through quarantine, we kind of really built a bond.
Let me just follow up on the thought of building these bonds. What player have you sort of built the closest bond with so far in your short time with this team?
I would say probably Seth Sipley. He's my roommate as well, and we play together on the same side. So I think our bond kind of on that left side has been pretty strong. And
Were you jealous when you first joined the team when he had that nice mustache going on, and were you sad when he decided to chop that thing off?
No. He can grow a nice mustache, but I wasn't sad to see it leave.
He's a great guy. He was actually he joined our podcast right after shortly after being announced. And he was a great guest, just as you've been so far, Nathan. I want to give Cameron a chance to ask a quick question here before we move on to maybe some more fun questions for you.
Okay.
I mean, Nathan, so you've played in the Galaxy Academy, Galaxy 2. You even had 12 appearances for the Galaxy. And you've been up, and then you've been the MLS, USL. What are a few things you felt you've improved on throughout the course of your career? You're still only 25. But what have you felt like you've improved the most on since your first MLS appearance?
I think what I've been improving on is consistency, or what I've been trying to really work on is consistency, just staying at my best each game, and then just trying to be like a point in the attack where I can keep the ball for the team, where I know, I'm not giving the ball over carelessly.
Yeah, you've been one of the silent performers of the team, one that doesn't get much attention, but I feel like you've been one of the most consistent players in the field so far, and a very big reason as to why you guys have been undefeated since the restart.
Well, let's say this, Cameron. They've been undefeated since the beginning of the season. Really, they haven't lost a match all season.
True. I forgot about that was in March. I had forgot.
One of the best defenses in the league, and Nathan Smith is a part of that. One of the things we like to do when we bring some guests on, especially when it's their first time joining the show, is to let the fans get to know a little bit about the player outside of soccer by asking just some random, interesting questions. I know Dylan's just dying to ask his typical question. But what I want to ask you right now, if you were to go on and pull up your iTunes account or Spotify account, what song would probably be on the one that would be playing at this moment?
At this moment, that would probably be some Burna Boy.
Ooh, Burna Boy. Ooh. He's got some good tracks with some grime artists that are pretty solid. Especially Own It. Especially Own It with Stormzy and Ed Sheeran. That was a good track.
Don't lie, Cameron. You were just Wikipediaing Burna Boy to find out what his songs are right now.
No, get the noise out. No. I was
gonna say, Alan's gonna know Burna Boy from being a high school or junior high school teacher.
I don't even know how to spell that. My students drop like people. I'm like, I don't. You're just giving me random names at this point. I don't even know. Who has the best quarantine hair / facial hair, and why is it Kevin Alston?
Kevin Alston's beard is great. I'll give the beard to KA. He's killing it with the beard. But I would say for the hair, probably Aiden Quinn. He's been growing his out for a long. Between Quinn or Seth, they've been really. I don't think they've really got too many haircuts.
I mean, Nate.
Hold on, Cameron. Speaking really quick about hair, we noticed a goalie change this last match due to a slight knock for Frederick Dew, and Aaron Cervantes comes on, and we've always praised him for his perfect hair that doesn't even get messed up when he's diving left and right in the goal, and then he comes into this match looking like he just got out of bed. Is it probably? What would you assume? It's probably because he wasn't ready to make an appearance in that match, Nathan.
It might be the style he's rocking with that kind of messy flow. I'm not too sure.
Let me throw it over to Dylan for a quick question here.
All right. Hopefully this is our last dumb question that might be just a waste of your time.
I got one more dumb question too.
Of course, Cameron.
Sorry.
But Nathan, what is your favorite vegetable and how do you prepare it?
Favorite vegetable, honestly, probably carrot. So I just like them, chopped up in the bags, the little mini carrots. Pretty simple with the veggies.
Are we getting some ranch dressing involved
in anything?
No ranch.
Just straight.
Good man.
Straight carrots.
I have so much respect, even more than I already had. All right, Cameron.
Cameron, take your shot for the last question here.
All right, so I feel like the pinnacle of athleticism is having your own Wikipedia page, and so how does it feel like to be in the realms of the world of search engines? Like you can put your name and you can just go to your Wikipedia page. I feel like that's success.
It feels good, but it also could feel bad. If you get a blooper on yourself, then it's just out there on the search engine. So I think it has its pros and cons.
And I will say this. Unfortunately for Nathan, his name is a very common name, especially for soccer/football. There was probably 4 or 5 other soccer/football profiles on Wikipedia with the name Nathan Smith. So it actually took me a few times to find the right one earlier today. I just wanted to go and read the bio. So who knows how many Nathan Smiths are out there playing soccer and who will eventually take over that Wikipedia space. Nathan, I don't want to take up any more of your time because I know you gotta do your nightly routine, getting them prepared for this weekend's match as Orange County is traveling up the 5 or the 405 to take on Los Dos. Hopefully that match happens. Fingers crossed. Quickly from you, Nathan, can you give us a quick thought on how that match is going to turn out for Orange County?
I think we're going to try to go out there and play our game and keep doing what we're doing and try to really get 3 points up there. I think it's a must win, and we're kind of a little bitter about the last game being canceled. So I think we're going to go in there and really try to show what we're about.
Perfect. Nathan Smith is a defender for your Orange County Soccer Club, ladies and gentlemen, and you can watch him and the rest of the club take on Los Dos this weekend on ESPN Plus. And also watch some of the matches throughout the season on Cox Your View. Nathan, once again, thank you for taking some time to join us, and hopefully we'll get to speak to you again soon. Awesome. Thank you, guys. Perfect. Again, Nathan Smith, we always appreciate when we can have a player from the club join us and we can learn a little bit about them. I hope people don't think we're totally wasting time when we're asking some of those silly questions, but part of the reason we do like to do that is because we get to see these players playing soccer, being athletes out there, but we like to try and learn a little bit more about them off the pitch, just so you can find out, hey, if there's any Orange County fans that also are fans of Burna Boy, now Nathan Smith is one of your guys on the club that listens to the same type of music as you and can enjoy that. So, Dylan just found his favorite vegetable choice, it seems like, on this club. He was super stoked that it was just, cut up carrots with no ranch. Right, Dylan?
I was more excited that it was not ranch because ranch is a garbage dressing. The man is from the garlic capital of the world, so he would know a good dipping sauce. Of course, the real garlic capital is actually Gilroy. I digress. Anyway, ranch is trash. I was really excited about that, but he and Chap have a favorite vegetable in common. So, future gift there, maybe a CLC chant based off of a Burna Boy chorus or something. Anything's possible.
Talking about carrots, you know. Hey.
I feel a little bit bad for him with, you know, Cameron asking dumb question, but
what is it like to be on Wikipedia?
what's it like?
I feel like that is a certified dumb question. I feel like that's like boom.
Somehow you picked a dumber question than the rest of us, which is saying something because Alan was just trying to talk about facial hair.
I mean, to be fair, Kevin Olsen's beard is like a thing of absolute
gorgeous.
beauty.
I'm in love
It's
with
a well-groomed beard.
This is the hard-hitting analysis you expect from the Orange and Black Soccer Cast.
Let me ask this really quick before we move on to talking about the recent match, and that is Nathan Smith. Again, we talked about it briefly, that his name is very common when you look at that. Do you think if he had a more unique name, would he be maybe a name that people would actually recognize more? And maybe that's a nice way for him to fly under the radar by having a very sort of, I'm not trying to be mean about it, but a common sort of simple name that doesn't stand out. You know, if he had like a Solomon Asante type name, would he be someone that maybe would be recognized more? What do you think, Dylan?
No, I don't think fullbacks, with one exception for Allen's club, I don't think fullbacks really get noticed. Having a name like, look, he's probably not going to put up incredible stats, like decent interceptions and blocks, but no one's looking at defensive stats and going, oh, well, this guy is someone we need in our team. But like his play, if you watch our games, passes the eye test. And he is making massive changes for Orange County, just in making runs when he's going further up the pitch and stretching out defenses, and he gets back really well. And his tireless play, he's a little bit more like a left back version of Christian Dew. So I'm thrilled.
Definitely. And go to you, Alan, someone that has a pretty common name as well. What are your thoughts? Do you think Nathan would stand out more if he Dylan's looking like what kind of question is that?
Well, I mean, Alan's not related to Kerry though.
We don't talk about that. We don't talk about that. That's not something we talk about.
It's a cease and desist from her, right?
I mean,
Nathan get more credit if he had a more unique name, or is he liking where he is, sort of flying under the radar as this really quality signing for Orange County that no one was talking about heading into the season, really?
I think the thing that's the most important thing to look at is when you're going into the season and someone like Kanto leaves and you're like, hey, there's going to be a hole there to fill in and try to replace that player. And then several games in, you realize the only thing you really miss is maybe that really long throw in, like essentially a set piece from a throw in. But when you look at the offensive output, the defensive output, I think, no offense to Mr. Kanto, but I would say that it's a pretty even wash, if not even a improvement with the way that backline's been playing. So I just think it speaks to his ability to come in, head down, take care of business. And, if you have a common name or not, I don't think it really matters. I think he has made himself a fixture in that back line, and I think it's well deserved on both sides of the pitch, both defensively and offensively. I think he offers something of consistency, level-headed play, tough play. I mean, he's gotten a couple yellow cards because he plays on the aggressive side, but never unintelligent. It's never him going too far. It's always like right up to that line. And I've been really, really impressed with his play on the pitch, that you don't really feel like you've missed a beat. And I know the back line was a question mark going into the season. Three new players, Kevin Alston, I'm glad he's back. But I think with Nathan Smith, he's just locked down that left wing back position in a way that you just don't have to think about it. Like you pencil his name in every time. He's just been that consistently good on both sides of the pitch.
An interesting thing with not just Nathan Smith, but a lot of the newcomers this year, if you look back in past seasons, there's been probably one or two that just don't end up fitting in with the club. They either leave midway through the season or they just have subpar seasons compared to what the expectations are. You're looking at this roster with these newcomers that have come in. You have Nathan Smith, Brian Olowski, Seth Kasipli, Rob Kiernan. These are 4 names that are new to this roster that have come in. Ugo also. 5 names on this roster that are making a sudden, an immediate impact on this team. And are cementing their place to be on the roster week in and week out. It's actually pretty refreshing to see that from Orange County, as opposed to what we've seen in the past, where you have players come in and not play the way you're expecting, or, in the case of like Charlie Adams last year, leaving midway through the season. Noah Powder. I'm not Noah Powder. There was one the season before. I forget who it was off the top of my head.
Mansell Selbold.
There you go. Let me ask you really quick on that, Cameron. Then let's get to these matches. What are your thoughts on how so many new pieces to this team have come in and have just slotted right in there? And it looks like they've been part of this squad since last season.
Well, I think it boils down to recruitment, honestly. I think these were huge pickups by the front office, and they were needs. They found good players on the market. I mean, of course, with USL, it's always high turnover rate, but finding the right players is always hard. And I think, the front office and everyone involved found players that fit a mold. And I mean, you look at Brian Olowski, he won the Polish league with Legia Warsaw. I mean, granted, he had one appearance, but he's a winner in that sense. And he slotted right in. I just think that it just is good chemistry, and I think the front office has done a good job in, find the right players for recruitment, and yeah, hats off to them, and hats off to the players themselves for slotting in right from the beginning.
So let's move on. Let's actually talk about some soccer, because we actually have 2 matches to recap and then 2 matches to preview, and we don't want to take up too much time. So we're going to sort of go through these rather quickly. So I apologize for that. But first, let's talk about, I'm sure Alan's excited to talk about this. First one we're going to talk about was the match down in San Diego at Torero Stadium. That's correct. How you say it, correct?
Yep, correct.
And Orange County traveled down, and for about 45, 50 minutes, it looked like it was going to just be one of those 0-0 type performances. But on there, actually, after a quick chance by Seth Klesippli, it actually was San Diego that was putting the pressure on for much of that first half. Lo and behold, second half comes on. Orange County gets 2 goals and seals the deal for another match with a victory and nothing conceded. So a clean sheet. Sorry for the defense there. Let me talk to you, Alan, as the San Diego man. What were your thoughts on Orange County's performance against your local team?
Yeah, this was an interesting one to watch. I think offensively for San Diego, this is the best game offensively of their season. I know that doesn't sound like a lot when they don't score a goal, but I think if you really look at that game, Orange County gets like a good 20 minutes and really capitalizes on a few mistakes that San Diego give them. You have Sean Okoli, who was shut down for most of the game, finding that one mistake and then just pouncing on it and being able to put it in. Aiden Quinn scores an amazing goal. It's like 2 weeks in a row for San Diego, or 2 games in a row for San Diego, and 2 just like stellar, amazing goals that you just have to tip your cap. Aiden Quinn's left foot is magical when it sparkles. But I think for San Diego, this was hey, this was a really good match. We can build from this. Orange County was one of those, oh snap, we got outplayed for a large portion. But I think the difference between last year and this year is they just kept at it and were able to capitalize on the mistakes and bury them in a way that they didn't before. So it's basically between like the 65th minute and the 84th was the 2 goals. Up to that point, like the first half was all San Diego. And it's something that Orange County needs to, I think, be wary of. And I think when we talk about the Vegas game, there were some moments in there as well. But it's really that kind of middle part of the second half that Orange County just took advantage and were able to put 2 by San Diego. And Duke came up big. The defense came up big and just kept San Diego off the board long enough for them to get that one breakthrough. San Diego's just not scoring goals right now.
Let me go to you really quick, Dylan. Without Frederick Dew between the posts there against San Diego, they probably could. I mean, nothing against Aaron Cervantes because he's a very spectacular goalkeeper as well. But Frederick Dew made a few great saves there in that first half that kept Orange County in that match until they had the opportunity to score. Without Frederick Dew in there, do you think Orange County has no chance in this?
Yeah, I'm not actually sure. We saw Aaron last year more than a handful of times make really big reflex saves that we saw Frederick Dew making in that match. I think the experience tips it in favor of Dew being the right man in that situation, getting into a little bit better positioning, getting into better spots before the shots coming in, so that when they are coming in, he can gather or parry it away with some strength and push it out. San Diego made a lot of set pieces, and I think that's where the success for Orange County comes from is Dew's ability to organize his box and his, the amount of noise that he generates as a human being is incredible, and we heard a lot of it in the match against Vegas as well.
A lot of expletives. But he got the point across.
Yes, he did.
Let me ask you really quick, Cameron, on that match. Alan mentioned the Aiden Quinn strike. Best guess, can you give me, Cameron, of the MPH, the miles per hour of that shot heading into goal for Aiden Quinn?
Well, that's hard. I think like 55, 60 miles an hour. Because that was hit.
If you think if you were in goal and you were like basically put right in the right position to make that save, would you have been able to save that, or would it have still gotten past you?
Ooh, it was right. It looked like from the angle which the camera, like you see in the camera, it's rising. So I just think that I personally, I would have been able to save it. I would have had to have been like right in front of it and knock off my dome. Like that would be the only way. I mean, I'd probably be concussed, but hey, get the save. But I mean, like if I'm in a normal position, like middle of the goal, no, that was just hit perfect.
And I think that goal was set up by some nice footwork by, I believe it was Brian Olowski. If I get that wrong, someone correct me. Let me go to you, Alan. Brian Olowski sets up Aiden Quinn for that strike. What do you think's going through Aiden Quinn's mind as that shot leaves his boot and heads to the goal? Do you think he already knows it's going in and he just starts running to celebrate? And what did you think of his celebration getting a goal in his hometown?
So a couple things. I thought it was Alvarado who kind of pushes it back to him and kind of lays it out perfectly. I think there was a lot of love in San Diego because of Aiden's dad and how spectacular he was with the soccer. Like that was the scuttlebutt is like, hey, we know we lost. There's a lot of positivity, but if you loved San Diego soccer, you've seen this from his dad in the Grand Old Arena back in the day. And so it was kind of a flashback. And it's like, for me, it was one of those, like, I'm mad, but then I'm happy, and then I'm mad, and then I'm happy again. Because it's like, I want Aiden Quinn to do well. I really appreciate him as a human and a player. I don't want him to do that against San Diego. But then again, as a neutral, that's a hell of a goal. Like, that's a hell of a strike. And so it's one of those, like, emotional roller coasters. And I would like to say that, if Aiden Quinn wants to come on the Fairweather and Orange and Black Soccer Cast again, so he can just keep on scoring goals, he is more than welcome.
Maybe it's a good luck charm to be to do a double session on both podcasts.
Two podcasts, 2 goals. I mean, the numbers speak for themselves.
So you go, Aiden, if you're listening, you got an open invitation. Alan's invited you to both podcasts again if you want to, if you believe. I think he mentioned he has some, of those sports superstition beliefs here and there. He believes in those a little bit. So, I mean, hey, Alan set the table there. If you want to come do that, Aiden, join us. Really quick, I'll go to you, Dylan. Do you have any last thoughts on the San Diego match before we talk about Las Vegas?
Yeah, I was actually going to bring up that Aiden Quinn's goal was nominated for Goal of the Week as 1% of the current tally because Junior Fleming scored a banger in Phoenix. Juan Tejada probably scored a pretty good goal for Tampa Bay and then some other random teams. But, Aiden's that player I don't think really gets the plaudits he deserves. He really should have been the MVP in 2018. And I know I talked about it back then. If you compare to his stats directly with Emmanuel Ledesma from Cincinnati, who did win MVP that year, Aiden was the better player.
I think we talked about it though at that time, right, Dylan? We talked about it at that time is because he was also had Thomas Voltson that was up for it. So when you have 2 players from the same team, they sort of take away votes from each other from the media that would vote for that, or the league representation that would vote for that.
Yeah, and what I think we're seeing now is Quinn's able to put. I mean, we don't have an Enevoldson right now, and we might not get him the rest of the season because there's not a lot of time left. But he's able to make that change, and he made that change twice for Orange County this week against the run of play, kind of both times.
And let's talk about this nomination for goal of the week. I think a lot of time these hard strikes don't get as much love when it comes to a goal of the week because people look at it as it's just a straight kick. It's just hard. But most people don't realize it's hard to keep a powerful kick like that down. It's hard to keep it going nice and straight. Even Cameron said it looked like it was lifting up a little bit. So, I mean, that's sort of the natural progression of the ball when you're getting that power behind it. It's going to lift up a little bit most of the time. I think I was on a fan video chat with some of the other USL fans. Harry was on there, a couple others. And the moment I saw that goal, I was yelling goal of the week nomination right there. And people were like, it's a nice goal, but I don't know if it's goal of the week type of thing. I think part of that is just, it doesn't have that pretty curve or this, pretty like lift and drop into a certain position. So, I mean,
it's like a Forrester goal from last season, like outside the boot.
Yeah. Let's look at this. Let's look at the next match that happened after San Diego. It was a quick turnaround for Orange County. They came back home, welcomed the Las Vegas Lights. We were sort of questioning last week, will that match even happen? Lo and behold, it did happen. Las Vegas was there. There was actually, I think, a Las Vegas fan sitting outside the gates of Championship Soccer Stadium, along with County Line Coalition in another section of that area. I believe both Dylan and Cameron were at the match covering the match there live. So I'll go to Cameron first, since we haven't heard as much from you in the last few minutes. Quick impressions of that match against Las Vegas for Orange County.
I mean, it's pretty much just business as usual, to be honest. I mean, apart from two or three Vegas attacks, like Orange County could have won that game way earlier. I think, Diego Lopez, his surprise debut because of problem with Chandler Hoffman, he could have had a goal. Olowski put in some pretty good passes in the box to try to open it up. Ugo had a shot that could have gone in. It just felt it was just easier because against San Diego, we saw that Orange County can win when their backs are against the wall. But this was like a tale of two games. Like Orange County, I felt that it was just they really weren't troubled. And it just felt after the first goal, like it felt even before the first goal was scored that you knew it was bound to happen. And really, Vegas put up no real fight, to be honest with you.
Let me move over to you quick, Alan. Brian Olowski had an amazing match for the 90 minutes there. Set up two basically chippers, one for Ugo, and I believe the other one was for Diego
Lopez,
right? Right there in front of the goal, and just somehow they get deflected either by the goalie or the defense. What are your thoughts on Olowski's performance in that match? And were you sort of shocked when the club announced Aiden Quinn as the man of the match and not Brian Olowski?
Olowski was pretty amazing. I'm not surprised. I think when you score the game-winning goal, you tend to get the love. But if you think about Aiden Quinn, was playing back a lot and just happened to be up in the box for Olowski to kind of just shift it to him to put on that left foot and put it in. I think Olowski is slowly coming into form with the team and figuring out where he is. He is a really slippery player. He basically gets tackled, still beats his man up to the ball, busts through a guy trying to hold on to him, beats guy to the touchline to get it across and to Diego. And it just happened to be, Delgado puts a really good save on that, one touch shot. There's a couple things I do want to point out, and I put this in the chat there's a little bit of trouble for me with Michael Orozco with some of his decision-making in that first half. There was a really sloppy back pass, and we've seen this from him before this year, that puts the back line and the keeper in a bad position. There's a really bad tackle that happens in the 13th minute that Rob Kiernan is having to recover pretty quickly to shut it down. And it was actually a really good defensive play by him. There was a couple moments in that first half that if Vegas puts any one of those shots in, it's a much different game. Like, we can say that Orange County outplayed Vegas for a large portion of the game, and that's true. But what troubled me was a defense that's been so locked down and mistake-free to have a couple of slip-ups and mental lapses that could have easily, for any other team but Vegas, ended up in the back of the net. And I think Do bails someone out with an amazing save on that curling shot to the top shelf that I think most goalkeepers don't get to, and that's a goal. I think there's a couple moments that were really troublesome that shows like Orange County needs to not fall asleep during a match that they feel that they're dominating. And we've seen this a few times with Orange County. Luckily, there's enough offensive talent that can bail them out and enough consistency the back line that can bail them out. Obviously, Orange County is going to win this game 10 times out of 10 with the way that played out. But there's a couple of moments in there that were a little bit worrisome for me. If you're going to go up against some of the better teams in the West, they're going to punish you for those mistakes. And now you're going to be playing from behind as opposed to Orange County doing what's best, getting a goal and playing from ahead.
Yeah, if not for Frederick Drew's amazing save on that curler, it could have been 1-0 in favor of Vegas and changes the whole, flow of the rest of this match, because now Orange County is playing from behind and they're not able to play their style of soccer. And again, the heat heading into that kickoff was pretty crazy as well. Let me ask you this question, Dylan, because you were at the match. Seth Moses on a yellow card goes in for a hard tackle. And I'm sure, Alan, you if you're like me, you're watching the stream or you replayed the stream later because I think San Diego was playing at the same time. The person on the stream is saying any other time that's yellow, but because he's already on a yellow, you can't call a yellow here, even though it's an obvious, doesn't even get near the ball. The ball's already gone when the tackle gets made. Dylan, what are your thoughts on that second hard tackle that should have been a yellow not being called because he was already on a yellow? And could you hear any of the coaching staff or any of the sidelines from Orange County, and what was their response?
Yeah, that is a second yellow 10 out of 10 times, but Michael Radchuk, the referee, does not like to make big decisions. I think he was a little bit nervous because he made a big decision 3 or 4 weeks ago, and just there's probably some pressure there, but it was also a deserved 2 yellow card situation in that Phoenix match when he sent off Santi Moir. I don't get why you get a talking to when you hack down a guy at knee level just outside the box when he is kind of clear, not necessarily on goal, but clear to make a shot from that point or to lay it off to a guy to make a shot. It's an absolute yellow card. Every player, match day squad, not in the match day squad, coaching staff, everyone, I think Cameron and I, every one of us were yelling that was a second yellow. Frederick Dew was not having any of it. He was livid, and he was livid earlier in that game, about 5 minutes in, after the one shot on goal that Vegas put, and he had to make that save, and he was yelling at Kevin Alston to sort it out, and he was even angrier about the second yellow. But it's just abysmal refereeing in that situation. He arguably deserves 3 in that one. His first one is shoving a dude into the advertising boards 10 minutes into a match, gets away with a pretty heavy tackle to stop a counterattack 60 seconds later, and here you are. They immediately subbed him off, probably knowing that was the most luck they're going to get. But
if I'm not mistaken, he hacked down Nathan Smith.
Yeah, the board was Wagner.
He hacked down. Was Alston? Alston was the one who got thrown into the board, and then he hacked Nathan Smith with that should have been second yellow. So.
Let me quickly ask you then, because I think Dylan didn't quite answer, but what was the reaction from the coaching staff there when the second yellow wasn't handed out, Cameron?
Loads of expletives.
Yeah, we can't say any of it.
Loads. It was loads of expletives. Chaplow with his high pitched Manc accent, saying something. but it was you. It was. I mean, there's only one reaction, to be honest. They're livid, and I mean, dude got off. Dude got off of his bench seat and walked up, and he just started. He was probably way more agitated than Braden or Richard were.
Yeah, let me just wrap this up because Orange County ended up winning the match off the Aiden Quinn goal. And again, no goals allowed, a clean sheet. So through these matches now, only one goal conceded all season long, and no losses since the start of the season, Cameron, not just since the return to play. And by the way, I don't know the announcer that was basically saying because it's the second, it's not a yellow, even though any other time it would be yellow. This is the same announcer that pronounced Frederick Dew's name like 3 or 4 different ways. Frederick Dew, Frederick Dewey, Frederick Dewey, I forget.
Thomas Rongen,
I think.
Probably. That
time in the comments if you know.
Yeah.
I think it was Rongen.
Alan, let me go to you. Any last thoughts on this match before we move on to previewing the next 2 matches quickly for Orange County?
I just think Orange County needs to rediscover the killer instinct they had against Phoenix. Yeah, it was great to see Aiden Quinn score in the 69th minute, a second goal in 2 games. And if Aiden Quinn can find the back in the net consistently, and then you just add Okoli and Olaski, hopefully Kasipli is okay. I think Orange County is in a really good place. With Aiden Quinn scoring, Orange County tends to be successful.
And hopefully they can refine that hunger that they showed against Phoenix in their upcoming match here against Los Dos up in Carson, coming up here. Again, this is an opponent who earlier in the season, the match had to be postponed because of COVID concerns, but now there is a match at least scheduled to be played, and hopefully it's going to take place this coming Saturday. Quickly, without spending too much time on this because we're running low on time, Dylan, thoughts on Orange County heading into this match, and does Los Dos put up any kind of fight against Orange County, or should it be an easy win for Orange County?
Orange County is going to come in full of confidence. Orange County is going to come in sans Harry Forrester. But Los Dos might have some fringe MLS players because, of course, the Galaxy are back. I believe the 2 teams have been training together since the first team got back. So that could pose some issues. We've seen that in the past, and we've historically struggled against this team for no good reason. But we have an unbeaten streak. We have a chance to really cement ourselves in second place ahead of the weekend. Ahead of the midweek. So everything's to play for. Nathan Smith was right. It's a must win.
Cameron, let me head it to you. Is this a must win for Orange County? And do you see a win coming their way?
Of course, it's a must win. But this Los Dos team is better than Los Dos teams of years past. So Orange County historically struggling here. It will be even tougher considering that Los Dos have finally got their act together. But I think this time around, there's just too much balance on Orange County, and the good players will show up and perform. And it won't be easy, but I think Orange County will eke out a W.
Alan, anything that should scare Orange County fans coming out of Los Dos?
This is when
potential MLS players that might play.
I just think this is when Orange County establishes themselves as either just more of the same from last season, or to say this is a new squad. You look at the Los Dos matches in the past, like they didn't win last year against Los Dos. You have that Tacoma match that was just like abysmal. I think maybe this is because it's a shortened season. There's more motivation to get 3 points every match. So hopefully that shows up on the pitch. But these matches have been typically a little bit problematic for Orange County. They play really well against top teams. But on some of these like sleeper ones, you think they're going to do really, really well. They just poop the bed. So my hope for this week for Orange County is that they don't play down to their competition, that they really play their style of soccer, like Nathan Smith said, and go in there and take care of business. It doesn't have to be pretty. It can be another 1-0, 2-0 victory. The same thing on the weekend. Like Los Dos is, next week. Los Dos is going to play Phoenix on midweek. So you're going to be rested, and you just got to take the game to them, score early, and then maybe you sit back like you've been doing recently and take a defensive mindset and eke out a couple goal win. I think that's what a lot of the better teams are doing right now is just scoring and then playing uber defense. We're seeing a new style of soccer right now in the USL, and Orange County is set up to be successful.
All right, let's go around. Dylan, score prediction against Los Dos.
2-1 Orange County. I think playing at 2 p.m. tomorrow against Phoenix is just a little bit too much to recover from.
Cameron, what about you?
2-1 Orange County. Olowski gets the first goal against his former team.
Alan?
2-0 Orange County.
Short and sweet. There you go, Orange County. Dylan, you ready for it? 5-0 Orange County. Hey, you hate me. I said 5-0 Orange County.
Oh, whoa, that's new. I'm sorry. I stopped listening.
5-0 Orange County. I'm looking for them to just come out and just hand it to Los Dos and, come back after a poor outing from Las Vegas. At least to the standards, they should have scored quite a few more goals in this match. I think they'll come out against Los Dos with a little bit of fire, and Los Dos coming off the midweek match, man, I can't talk right now, are going to struggle on that one. And then let's lead on to Las Vegas. We're not going to talk much about what to expect out of it because we just watched Las Vegas come to Orange County in that match. So we already sort of know what to expect, except this match is going to be in Las Vegas. Los Deuce. And luckily, this match in Vegas is not going to be an 11 p.m. kickoff like it was originally anticipated when Orange County was going to travel to Las Vegas earlier in the season. But let's do this. Score prediction for Orange County in Vegas, Dylan.
I still don't think Vegas has a number 9, something that Carson Murk has pointed out a billion times. So 2-0 Orange County. Oh, and we know how to play in the heat now because it's just abysmal here.
Cameron, you?
3-1 Orange County.
Alan?
I think even though they don't have a striker, Raul Mendiola looked a little bit dangerous. All they have to do is find one cross in. But I think Orange County handles their business, goes to Las Vegas, and goes on the road with a 1-0 victory.
Yeah, I'm going to agree with Alan's scoreline on there. 1-0 for Orange County on that match. Let's do this because of some fun times here and a lot of matches to talk about. We're out of time here. So we're going to go through and do our random thoughts. Unless, really quick, does anyone have any other important soccer stuff they want to share really quickly?
If you're like a European soccer fan, Champions League's tomorrow.
I can one-up you if you'd like to watch the Women's Champions League, and you should because it's a little bit more ethical. You can watch that for free in the United States with I don't remember what it is, but you can watch it for free in the US. It starts this weekend, I think.
Who's playing?
I don't know what day it is anymore. Literally everyone.
The beginning of it?
Yeah. So good stuff. Woso, just as good, if not better than Broso. Plus, it's a lot more interesting than watching Bayern steamroll past Lyon 6-0 and then some Qatari-funded final.
You can tell that Dylan loves European men's soccer.
The contempt.
Numbers are out for USL. I think I have 8 times the amount of people watching online. You might say that, well, that's because people can't go to watch the games. But if you look at who watched the MLS's back tournament, they were kind of about as average as they were in a normal. So some good news at USL. They are also doing Sirius XM. USL is going to be on a game of the week on Sirius XM and also in the Caribbean on Flow Sports. Not the crappy Flow Sports that we know, but FLOW. So USL is growing in national and international audience. So I'm here for that.
He is here for that, ladies and gentlemen.
We are top of the power rankings too. We are king of the castle, baby. Number 1.
I don't know how much we like power rankings.
Can that be his random thought?
poor
that should be his random.
Oh no,
Because it's
no,
random
no,
and
no, no,
garbage.
no. Yeah, and let's go to you, Dylan. Random thought.
I think we're at a point, a bit of a crossroads in our situation in life, and I think we need to be very cognizant of being good people right now, more than ever, and we need to push for some good change, so that we don't have to take a knee during the national anthem. We don't have to take a knee for 15 seconds before every match, and we don't have to clap for healthcare workers before the start of the second half. We can just have some equity and some equality and some high quality living for everyone.
Cameron, random thought.
So I downloaded Audible, and I got the free book trial. It was about
Dylan's
the
favorite app.
1998 Festina scandal. If we're talking about the biggest drug bust in sporting history, it was wild. I mean, some writers were held in jail. It was turned to a criminal case. Like, it was probably the year. It was definitely the year that's systematic doping was visible in cycling, and it's just crazy to see it on that level. And basically, like, from then on, I mean, you had the creation of WADA, the World Anti-Doping Agency, and basically whoever had a good performance in any cycling race for a good while was like, all right, this guy's in the juice. It was laid bare. It was laid bare to see. And
was it the clear?
What I mean, it's basically the scandal that most Americans don't know about. Like, we talk about performance enhancing drugs in sports, like, more of like you have like the Mitchell report, Balfour stuff in the early 2010s, but this was like visible. Like, you have 400 vials of performance enhancing drugs in like a small car going to Dublin. It's like, it's way more visible. It was way more visible. It was like, all right, all these drugs are going to the best team in the world. So it's like, it was kind of just laid bare, visible.
Save it for your history podcast.
I was gonna say this is a mouthful of history right here. You don't have to record an episode anymore this week, Cameron. Let's go and let's just go to you, Alan.
I think I just blacked out for a few minutes. What just happened? I heard equality, and then my brain shut off.
We got bombarded by another podcast, basically.
Right. I'm going to give a shout out to Meg. I don't know how to say her last name, Linehan or Linehan. She's basically the Jeff Reuter of women of WOSO, women's soccer. If you're not following her, like, her timeline is just absolutely like, it's Linehan, first name Meg. She was the one that kind of broke that 3 syllables, I believe, Linehan. She's the one who broke the Rose Lavelle to Man City rumors. If you are at all, how do you spell Meg? Like kicking a ball through someone's legs. She's an absolute gem of a follow. Follow her. She is fantastic in reporting. Her work around the NWSL Cup was great. She is on Athletic. So please, if you don't subscribe to that, or if you do, make sure you're following her and responding and liking her posts. She's like I said, she's an absolute gem. I know it's a little bit soccer related, but she's been fantastic, and she seems to be like a great human being. So give her a follow, please.
Perfect. My random thought for this episode is I just want to give props to all the teachers, all the parents, and all the students that are going through the start of a new school year that looks completely different than any other school year. My kids started their first day of school today, and although there was a few challenges early on, it definitely was a lot different than what the end of the last school year looked like. So it's definitely good to see that, and props just everyone that's dealing with it and working with it as best they can, because I know it's not easy for any person that's participating, especially the kids who are just, doing something completely different, and they don't get to be around friends. And that's a big joy for a lot of kids is being around their friends at school. And without being able to do that, they're still, at least, most kids that I've talked to, they're still going through it, doing their best, trying hard, and finding a way to find positives in this really weird age that we're in. And props to the teachers, because I know it's not easy for them either. Alan, props to you. Woo. Especially band teachers in this time. I don't know how you teach band through Zoom.
I don't either.
All I know is elementary school kids will become HR professionals by the time they hit middle school.
Oh yeah, they're gonna be like running like Zoom
emails,
everything. Yes. Well, this is gonna wrap up time. We went a little bit past an hour, but we were definitely having fun, and there was a lot of great stuff to talk about. I want to thank our guest Nathan Smith from Orange County Soccer Club for taking a little bit of time out of his evening to join us here on this podcast, and for sharing his love for just carrots, just tiny cut up baby carrots. His love for that without ranch, yes, and his current playlist song of Burna Boy. Well, that's not the song, that's the artist, but ask Cameron if you need to know what song he's probably listened to, because Cameron seems to know a lot about Burna Boy. I want to thank Cameron from A Mouthful of History for joining us and sharing with us what it's like on A Mouthful of History when he starts talking about something historical like doping in cycling. And of course, as always, Dylan and Alan on here. Really quick, Dylan, your Twitter.
Drop it. Oh, it's not right there. Now it is at OCSC_Dylan on Twitter and Reddit.
And Cameron, what about you? Where can our listeners follow you, find you, listen to you, watch you, read you?
At What Cameron Said.
Alan?
Hey, Underwood 48 on the Twitter machines.
And you can follow me, my personal Twitter at DJ Ray Zamora, or you can follow the podcast Twitter at OCSC_SoccerCast. You can also go to our website, which has all of our past episodes, our writings that we do, and also links to any of the sites that you can find us at. So for everyone, this has been the Orange and Black Soccer Cast. I got to hand it over to Alan for this final part of it. Go.
Thanks to our sponsor, Roughneck Scarves, the official soccer scarf supplier to the MLS, USL, and US Soccer. Get your custom scarves or masks today at roughneckscarves.com. Tired of the same old uniforms and cookie cutter templates from Nike and Adidas? Looking for a unique, completely custom kit for your youth club, Sunday League squad, adult, pro team, or EUSL team? Looking at you, Ray. Icarus FC can help you create the kit of your dreams at an affordable price. Let them help you design your new custom kit today at IcarusFC.com. That's IcarusFC.com.
And we are out.